Part 75. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 742. The living planet breeds living things. Creatures grow, and become stronger, and they also feed back to their home planet. Today's Earth is already a 5th-level life planet, with spiritual energy reviving and life levels increasing day by day. In recent days, people generally feel that they have more energy, and their physical fitness and resistance have been greatly improved. These changes cannot be fully reflected in adults. You know, the babies recently born on the earth are full of vitality, cry loudly, and have extremely strong vitality. According to an expert, if a recently born baby has no disease or accident in his life, the average life expectancy can be over 300 years old. There have been such changes on the human side of the earth, and there have been corresponding changes on the animal and plant side. According to the latest reports, giant ants with a body length of more than 1 centimeter have been discovered many times around the world. At the same time, the beasts in zoos around the world are eating more and getting stronger every day. Therefore, in order to avoid accidents, major zoos have to close their doors. All of the above illustrate that the earth and the creatures on the earth are transforming. This is the transformation of life levels. The total original population of the earth exceeded 10 billion, and there were billions of players who experienced Taigzu. This year, in the war with the Zerg, more than half of the earth's population was lost, but the remaining people also grew through the baptism of blood. When Taigzu was stopped, there were over 100 third-level gods on earth, tens of thousands of second-level gods, and hundreds of thousands of first-level gods. As for the powerful ones in the Holy Realm, they are incalculable. This year, the earth has been baptized by war. Leaving aside Yangtian and Huangmao, the number of third-order gods has basically remained unchanged. More than half of the second-level gods were destroyed, leaving only 10,000 people. Although more than half of the first-order gods have been lost, in this year, more powerful saints have broken through their own limits and have broken through to the realm of first-order gods. Because of this, the number of first-order gods on earth today far exceeds 1 million. First-order gods and first-order cosmic warriors are in the same realm, but they have different names. On your planet, do you only have the required number of first-order space warriors? Ike asked at the right time. Countless people nodded. Seeing this, Ike and Ilu looked at each other with a troubled look on his face. Ike said directly, "Your Earth has millions of first-level space warriors. If this condition is true, then the Earth can indeed pass the assessment and join the Galaxy Alliance." After hearing this, everyone on Earth had no time to rejoice, but Ike changed the subject and said, "But, this is just a theory." "How do you say it?" Huangmao frowned. Ike said, "It's very simple. If your Earth wants to pass the Alliance assessment, the prerequisite is participation." Elu continued, "But the Earth is quite far away from the Galaxy Alliance. In the interstellar world, when millions of people migrate, the safety factor is not high, or even extremely low." Hiss. After Ike Ilu's reminder, countless people present gasped. Yes, the migration of millions of people is no easy task even on Earth, let alone interstellar migration. The insect domain is vast and boundless. In addition to the insects, the natural enemies of mankind are also wild beasts. It can be said to be full of dangers. Millions of people on Earth went to the Galaxy Alliance to participate in the assessment. This goal is too big and can easily attract the attention of the Zerg or wild beasts. Once something unexpected happens on the way, the losses will naturally be unbearable. At the same time, because of the reduced manpower, it will not be able to pass the Alliance's assessment. This matter is obviously not simple. What should I do? It's too dangerous to go to the Galaxy Alliance for the assessment. But without the protection of the Alliance, we are all in danger. We will not be able to live in peace. Everyone present quickly started discussing. In the past year, they have never been able to truly feel at ease for a moment. Actually, with the support of our Ram-Tobaz star, your Earth can participate in the assessment at any time. Aichi looked at the heated discussion and shook his head, and said, I suggest that you first send a few highly talented people to the galaxy to practice, and then pass the assessment in one fell swoop after making breakthroughs. After some discussion, the Earth side followed Edge's method. Yang Tianhuangmao and 100 third-level gods are willing to go to the galaxy to practice with Aiki Ailu. Yang Tianhuangmao is at the 5th level, and his target is obviously a 7th-level hero. As long as one person succeeds, he can pass the Alliance's assessment on behalf of the Earth. Xiao Fei and other 3rd-level experts aim to become 5th-level or 6th-level space warriors. After everything was ready, Yang Tian and others boarded Aiki's spaceship one after another. They are the heroes of our Earth. A group of first-order gods and second-order gods looked at the backs of Yang Tian and others, with incomparable respect in their hearts. Boom! The spaceship quickly took off, broke through the atmosphere, and entered the vast universe. The spacecraft was extremely fast. A month later, everyone saw the destination of the trip in the distance. I saw countless stars of different sizes in front of me, paving a bright galaxy. Hence the name of the Galaxy Alliance. According to Edge, the largest planet in the center of the galaxy is called Uranus. Its volume is about 100,000 times that of the Earth, and it is the headquarters of the Galaxy Alliance. There are billions of planets suspended in the galaxy, some are large and some are small, some are 10 times or 100 times the size of the Earth. The small ones are only 1/10, 1/100th of the size of the Earth, because the distance is still too far. Yang Tian and others sitting on the spaceship can basically only see countless dense spots of light. This is the Galaxy Alliance. At this time, everyone felt like a bumpkin entering the city, amazed, and deeply felt the vastness of the world. This is normal. After all, compared with the Galaxy Alliance, the Earth is equivalent to a black dot the size of a sesame seed, insignificant. At the same time, they also understood the strength of the Galaxy Alliance. The Zerg is the strongest in the Zerg domain, but the Zerg's power is too scattered. Although the Galaxy Alliance is not as strong as the Zerg, they are a collective, twisted into a rope, so that the Zerg dare not easily attack. Just when everyone was shocked and moved, a spectacle suddenly appeared in front of them. It was a prehistoric giant beast, carrying a sphere 10 times larger than itself and walking in the universe. The destination was the same as everyone else, which was also the Galaxy Alliance. The giant beast stood in human form, with extremely long arms and covered with hair. It looked a bit like the gibbon on Earth, but it was countless times larger and countless times more ferocious. Everyone knew the giant beast. They had seen it in Tegzu and called it Behemoth. Hee, that's the golden behemoth, a species at a higher level than the behemoth. Once they reach adulthood, they are at least 5th-level wild beasts. Their strength is only stronger than that of a 5th-level cosmic warrior. They are huge in size and extremely powerful. The Alliance also keeps this species in captivity. Once a planet joins the Alliance will send out the Golden Behemoth to move the planet to the Galaxy Alliance. Looking at the surprised people, Aiki explained to them with a smile. Moving a planet. Everyone felt their scalps tingling when they heard this. How big is the size and strength of this Golden Behemoth? Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 743. It turns out that if a planet joins the Galaxy Alliance, that planet will be moved to the Galaxy Alliance. Completely protected. At this thought, everyone's hearts are boiling with enthusiasm, and they want to use their own power to let the Earth join the Galaxy Alliance. When everyone actually arrived at the Uranus, they felt a little uncomfortable. They are not from the Galaxy Alliance, but now they are on the territory of the Galaxy Alliance. Is this really good? No problem. Seemingly seeing through everyone's concerns, Aiki said, "Don't worry, everyone, the Alliance is very welcoming to the strong individual people. What the Alliance wants is nothing more than the power to fight against the Zerg. Elu also continued, for a planet, there are only a few strong ones who can truly fight against the Zerg, and most of them are ordinary people. When a planet joins the Galaxy Alliance, the strong ones have to serve the Alliance. The corresponding Alliance also has an additional responsibility to protect the strong people's hometown. This is reasonable and reasonable. But now, before Earth has joined the Alliance, you only represent yourselves. Although I don't want to admit it, any one of you is probably no less powerful than me. You are all strong. Is there any reason why the Alliance shouldn't welcome you? Elu's words made everyone breathe a sigh of relief, and they were less anxious about coming to a foreign country for the first time. At the same time, they also recognized the Galaxy Alliance a little more in their hearts. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll leave first. Ike glanced at them and remember, although you can live here like a fish in water with your strength, if you still miss your hometown and your compatriots, don't slack off. How will the Earth join the Galaxy Alliance? How will your compatriots do? It's entirely up to you to protect yourself from the Zerg threat. Understood. Yang Tian shook hands with Aichi and Elu respectively, and watched them leave. Brother Shui, what are we going to do next? In the eyes of everyone, Yang Tian seems to be their leader and their backbone. Although they are quite confident in their own strength, they are somewhat uneasy in an unfamiliar environment. Let's go to the market first and hope everyone can adapt to it as soon as possible. Yang Tian waved his hand, and with a sweep of his consciousness, he located a nearby densely populated area, which must be the market, and took people there. Along the way, I met all kinds of strange and weird people. There are titans with huge bodies, bulging muscles, and carrying giant hammers on their shoulders. A werewolf with a wolf head and body, protruding fangs, and an arrogant and lonely personality. An extremely handsome elf with pointed ears and a pointed chin. There are also many different races of people similar to Earthlings. Everyone is from the insect realm, but they come from different planets. Yang Tian and others walked around and gradually arrived at the market, encountering some disdainful and scrutinizing looks along the way. But they had just arrived and were not familiar with the place, so it was not easy for them to conflict with others immediately. They could tolerate some small things as long as they could. Everyone, come and see, this is a magic weapon made of diamonds. It blows hair off and cuts iron like mud. If you get this magic weapon, your combat power will definitely increase. Let alone just insect men, even insect generals can easily kill them of. Fresh fruits. The 8th level Desolate Beast Cub is sold cheaply. The market on Uranus is nothing special. Some vendors are selling exaggeratedly. An ordinary long knife is transformed into a magic weapon, and a few ordinary cubs are transformed into 8th level Desolate Beast Cubs. Just kidding, an 8th level Desolate Beast Cub will at least be an 8th level Desolate Beast when it grows up. That kind of existence is the pinnacle of power even if you look at the entire insect realm. How could it be sold randomly? Boss, how do you sell this knife? Yang Tian walked over, grabbed the so-called magic weapon, and shook his head secretly. The material is definitely not diamond, and the refining method is also very rough. It is simply an ordinary weapon that cannot be called an artifact, and is of no use to the strong. The boss didn't know Yang Tian's inner thoughts. Seeing the guests coming, he narrowed his eyes with a smile, looking like a profiteer. 10,000 insect beads. Insect beads, Yang Tian's heart moved. Come to think of it, this insect bead is the universal currency of King Planet and even the entire Galaxy Alliance. While thinking this, Yang Tian took out a first-level insect pill. I wonder if there is any relationship between this insect pill and the insect bead? The boss' sharp eyes saw the insect pill in Yang Tian's hand at a glance, and said, "Brother, what you have in your hand is worth 100 insect beads." Yang Tian nodded in understanding. It seems that the first level insect pill is equal to 100 insect beads. If it is a second level insect pill, it should have a higher value. So boss, we are new here and don't have many assets. If we want to survive here, how can we get more insect beads? Yang Tian asked. Seeing that Yang Tian didn't buy anything, he instead asked him about ways to make money. The boss was not angry and said casually, if you have money, I suggest you go into business and use money to make money. If you have the strength, I suggest you join the Legion, go on adventures, conquer, and if you make a little difference, you can get generous rewards. If you have neither money nor strength, you can only work and obtain basic survival guarantees through low-cost labor. Okay, thank you. Yang Tian nodded slightly. He obviously didn't come here really to buy a knife, but to obtain some basic information. Now that he had gotten what he wanted, he planned to say goodbye and leave. Seeing that Yang Tian wanted to leave, the boss panicked and said, brother, this knife. Your magic weapon is good, but the price is too high. I really can't afford it. Yang Tian shook his head. The boss became more and more anxious, and hurriedly smiled and said, this is not a problem, brother, since we are destined to be together, I will sell you this knife for 100 insect beads. After saying that, he even handed the knife to Yang Tian, showing an expression that this magic weapon must be yours. It was 10,000 insect beads before, but it was reduced to 100 insect beads this time. Huang Mao and others watched the scene from the side, looking at the boss with some contempt in their eyes. Yang Tian has always been generous. At this point, he threw the first level insect pill in his hand to the boss, just as if he had bought the information. As for the knife, anyone with a discerning eye can see that it is worthless. Brother, I see that your friends are all brave and extraordinary. As the saying goes, a precious sword goes with a hero, why not? Unexpectedly, Yang Tian took a step back, and the boss became more and more demanding. Is it a precious sword or not? Don't you know? Looking at the boss who kept pestering, everyone's patience was about to run out. Yang Tian even raised his head and put the so-called magic sword into his mouth, one section at a time, and ate it alive. Ah! Looking at that scene, the boss seemed to have seen a devil, and sat down on the ground with cold sweat all over his face. Although there are many strange people and things on this king planet, a guy like Yang Tian who eats weapons alive is still scary and terrifying. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 744. As his strength grew stronger, Yang Tian became more and more compatible with the Daodi bloodline in his body. His teeth became better and better, and his esophagus and stomach were as unfathomable as a black hole. The steel was digested without a drop as soon as it entered his stomach. Brother Shui, I almost forgot that you have this skill. If you use it to perform on the street, you will definitely make a lot of money. Xiao Fei laughed. Haha, everyone laughed. Next, they dispersed and went to the market in groups of 3 or 2. Finally, 2 hours later, they gathered on the street again to exchange information. At present, if they want to survive in this strange world, insect beads are indispensable. And if they want to get insect beads, joining the Legion is the best choice. Although doing business can also make money, doing business has never been the first choice of the strong. Yang Tian had just inquired about it. The so-called Legion is similar to the adventure group. The word corps has the word army in it, which means it is the military force of the Galaxy Alliance and is under the control of the Alliance. Because there are too many corps in the Alliance implements a policy of letting them go, but at critical moments, all corps will become a sharp blade of the Alliance. Brother Shui, why don't you set up a corps and we join it? Someone suggested. Yang Tian shook his head. He was also a newcomer and knew very little about all aspects of the Galaxy Alliance. He didn't know anything about it, so how could he lead people? Let's go, let's pass the assessment and become space warriors first. After all, space warriors are the most basic requirement for each corps to recruit people. Yang Tian waved his hand and led everyone to the nearest assessment point. The assessment of space warriors is not held every day, but only one day a month. However, after hearing that Yang Tian and others came from Earth, the assessment point released them readily. This is obviously because the Hat Starman had given a heads up in advance. Brother Shui, I didn't expect that the Hat Starman is quite useful. Someone laughed. Yeah, Yang Tian nodded casually and said, even if we look at the entire Galaxy Alliance, the Remtabas people, that is, the Hat people we call, are also one of the most powerful forces. Everyone was a little surprised. Obviously they didn't expect that the Hat people actually had such a deep background. Everyone, it's a favor for them to help us, we can't cause trouble for them, Yang Tian reminded. Don't worry, Brother Shui. The indoor square of the assessment point. When Yang Tian and others came in, they found that there was another group of people taking the assessment. You know, today is not the day for the assessment, so those who can come in obviously have a certain background or relationship. The other party is not an ordinary human, but a werewolf. The black hair and sharp eyes give people a very arrogant and strong feeling. Unlike Yang Tian and others, these werewolves all wear a badge on their chests. That is the proof of a space warrior. If you want to become a space warrior, you must participate in and pass the assessment. If you want to upgrade the level of a space warrior, you must also participate in and pass the assessment. Obviously, these werewolves are not rookies who have just arrived at the Alliance. Heh, I thought they would be some big shots when they came in for the assessment today. I didn't expect them to be rookies who have just arrived. Those werewolves looked at Yang Tian and others wantonly, with undisguised contempt in their eyes, which was somewhat infuriating, but because they were new here, they dared not speak out. Why are you staring? This is King Planet, not your remote hometown. Don't think that you are great just because you have some connections. There are too many people and too many forces here that you can't afford to offend. One of the werewolves glanced around with disdain and said arrogantly, it stands to reason that when you meet us noble base werewolves, even if you don't kneel immediately, you should be humble. Humph, Yang Tian snorted coldly, and his domineering aura swept out. At this moment, the werewolf seemed to be stared at by a prehistoric beast, sweating profusely, and his body trembled unconsciously. Bang, the werewolf finally couldn't bear the pressure and knelt down in front of Yang Tian, his head covered with cold sweat and his pupils trembling deeply. Baron. Asshole. The werewolves reacted greatly and quickly helped Baron up, shaking with anger and cursing. How noble and proud are the werewolves of Beth. Baron, this bastard, kneeled down to others without knowing the severity of the situation? It's simply outrageous. Hurry up and drag him out, isn't it embarrassing enough? At this moment, all the werewolves seemed to be slapped in the face, extremely humiliated, and dragged Baron out roughly. Obviously, they didn't realize Yang Tian's domineering, and thought that Baron was crazy and did such a shameful thing. At this time, Baron finally woke up. As the person involved, he knew that it was Yang Tian who did it just now. Now he stared at Yang Tian with hatred and murderous intent. Alas, you are in trouble. After the werewolf on the bus left, a group of examiners came up and said, the werewolf on the bus is notoriously domineering and values face more than life. He lost face just now and will definitely take revenge in the future. It was me who took action just now. I believe that Baron has also noticed it. If he wants to take revenge in the future, he will only take revenge on me, Yang Tian said. Brother Shui, the others couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Yang Tian waved his hand calmly. Then you have to be very careful. It's best to stay in the alliance and don't go out. No matter how domineering the werewolf baron is, he dare not take action in the alliance, the examiner said. The Galaxy Alliance is formed by the union of billions of planets, with many powerful people and numerous races. As the saying goes, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. It is inevitable that some contradictions and conflicts will appear in the alliance. But as long as you do not solve them within the alliance will not pursue them. Thank you for the reminder, Yang Tian said politely on the surface, but he did not care in his heart. He could not stay in the alliance for his whole life. He knew his own strength. Although he was at the 5th level on the surface, if he used his full strength, the general 7th level life was no match at all, and even the 8th level life might not be able to get away with it. According to Feng Xian, his current strength is enough to venture into this insect domain. Danger will naturally occur. But danger sometimes also represents opportunities. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 745. The matter of the base werewolf came to an end, and Yang Tian and others began to accept the assessment. The assessment of the Space Warrior of the Galaxy Alliance is divided into two aspects. 1. Courage assessment. 2. Divine power assessment. As the vanguard of the Alliance, the Space Warrior often has to face the fierce and brutal Zerg, and courage is indispensable. If there is no courage, no matter how strong you are, you will only be scared to death on the battlefield and become the food of the Zerg. Of course, if you are already a Space Warrior and you participate in the assessment because you want to upgrade your level, then you don't have to take the courage assessment again. After all, when you became a Space Warrior, you have already passed the courage assessment. A group of people were taken into the underground secret room one after another to accept the courage assessment, and soon it was Yang Tian's turn. The underground secret room was airtight all around, giving people a very depressing and irritable feeling. Yang Tian was brought in. After a while, there was a click sound. The wall in front rose up and a giant insect tied with iron chains rushed out. Its scarlet eyes stared at Yang Tian, and saliva flowed from its giant mouth like a stream. This giant insect seemed to be extremely hungry, and even had multiple wounds on its body, and the smell of blood was spreading wantonly. The hungry and painful giant insect naturally gave people a feeling of extreme violence and cruelty. Ordinary people would probably have been frightened to incontinence in the face of such a situation. But Yang Tian was unmoved. The giant insect pounced with all its strength, getting closer and closer to Yang Tian, and the violent and terrifying breath became clearer and clearer. A loud roar caused a shockwave that even messed up Yang Tian's hair. It's a pity. Even so, Yang Tian's expression remained unchanged, and he didn't even blink. Ka! Just when the giant insect wanted to eat Yang Tian in one bite, the iron chain behind it suddenly straightened, and the powerful control made it fixed, unable to move forward even an inch. The giant insect could only roar unwillingly. Brave. The examiner finally announced the result. He looked at Yang Tian with deep admiration in his eyes. Not bad, next one. Not long after, Yang Tian and others all took the courage test. Including Yang Tian, there were only a few people who were rated as brave. But the rest were all rated as greatly brave, far exceeding the passing line. Such a result made the examiners a little surprised, but Yang Tian and others were not complacent, they just felt that it should be so. After all, the population of the Earth is billions, tens of billions, and they are already the top existences on the Earth. Each of them stood out from hundreds of millions of people, and they all have something. After the courage test, the next is the divine power test. Yang Tian had discovered long ago that there were rows of black stone pillars in this square. The first row was only the size of a fist, and the size of the pillars got bigger and bigger. It is said that it was black jade, and its hardness and weight were far beyond people's imagination, and it could be called the best in the insect domain. And the size of the rows of black stone pillars, that is, the size of the black jade, was obviously strictly measured and intentional. I believe everyone has seen that those stone pillars are very heavy, and those who do not hold divine power can never shake them. Each row corresponds to a rank. For example, if I am a third-rank cosmic warrior, then it is natural that I can easily lift the stone pillars in the third row, an examiner said as he personally walked to the third row and lifted a stone pillar with one hand to demonstrate to the examiners. Seeing this, Yang Tian's eyes lit up. At present, his divine power cultivation is stable at the middle stage of the 5th rank. Because of the relationship with the human king, his divine power is 7 times more powerful than that of the same realm, and can crush the general 6th rank. If he uses the amplification divine power, he will surpass the 7th rank in a short time. In other words, as long as Yang Tian is willing, he can completely lift the black jade in the 7th row that is as big as a water tank and be rated as a 7th level cosmic warrior. Ike has long said that a 7th level cosmic warrior is a great man. As long as he opens his mouth, it is enough to make a life planet join the alliance and be protected by the alliance. In fact, Yang Tian has always had the habit of keeping a trump card. He does not like to expose his strongest strength. However, letting the Earth join the Galaxy Alliance, be protected by the Alliance, and be free from the threat of the Zerg, this matter cannot be delayed, the sooner the better. So he made up his mind, today, even if all the trump cards are exposed, he must be rated as a 7th level cosmic warrior. But the examiner's next sentence made him a little confused. The examiner said, "Of course, just lifting it up is not enough." "Lifting it up is not enough? What do you mean?" Yang Tian was stunned. The examiner gave him a warning look, obviously not satisfied with his sudden interruption, and said in a cold voice, "If you want to become a glorious space warrior, you must be good enough in all aspects. First, you need enough courage so that you will not be frightened by the enemy on the battlefield. Second, you need strong strength. Third, strength alone is not enough. You also need endurance to match it. You can never accurately judge how long a war will last. In previous large-scale battles, some great warriors even fought for several months without interruption and finally died of exhaustion. Although some people have good strength, their divine power is weak and their foundation is too poor. Such people often lose the strength to fight again in less than 2 hours on the battlefield. They are even worse than cannon fodder and are not worthy of becoming space warriors. Therefore, it is not enough to just lift the stone pillar. You must maintain it for at least 6 hours to pass the assessment." Yang Tian frowned. He understood and approved of the Alliance's assessment method. But he also knew that at least in this assessment, he could not become a 7th level space warrior. His foundation is unstable and his divine power is weak. No. His foundation is very solid, and his divine power is very condensed and powerful. Even Feng Xian has deeply admired this. The key is that the amplification of magical powers can often only last for a short time. He has 2 amplification magical powers. But whether it is Shenglongbian or Weizhen Shanlin, it is impossible to last for 6 hours, even if they are added together, it is far from enough. Okay, I believe everyone should have a basic understanding of their own strength. Let's start, come on. As soon as the examiner finished speaking, everyone took action. Yang Tian thought carefully for a while, and then walked to the 5th row, targeting the 5th level space warrior. If he could become a 7th level space warrior and make the Earth join the Galaxy Alliance, then Yang Tian would not mind, and would even be willing to expose all his strength and trump cards. Even if he couldn't, it would be better to keep a low profile. Hidden strength, suddenly bursting out in battle, often has miraculous effects. Yang Tian deeply agrees with this point. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 746. Most of the hundreds of people were standing in the 3rd row, targeting the 3rd order space warriors. There were less than 10 people in the 4th row. As for the 5th row, there were only two people, Yang Tian and Huang Mao. In fact, both Yang Tian and Huang Mao were absolutely certain to be rated as 6th level space warriors, but they both chose to hide their strength. Time is like running water. 5 hours passed quickly. But everyone lifted the weight with ease, not showing a trace of fatigue, and their ease made all the examiners slightly surprised. You must know that as examiners, they often see some guys who fail the examination. Holding the black jade in hand for a long time is a test of the strength of divine power, the degree of concentration of divine power, and the precise control of divine power. Obviously, not everyone has these abilities. Oh, I'm worthy of Ram-Tobaz's guarantee. These guys really have something to offer. There are 2 5th-level space warriors among them, and it seems that they should be among the best among 5th-level warriors. This is really rare. Who dares to believe that they are country bumpkins who just came from down below? It's a pity that one of the 2 best seedlings offended the Bath Werewolf. It's a pity indeed. If he was a 7th-level hero, maybe Ram-Tobaz would protect him. But at level 5, I believe Ram-Tobaz would not offend the werewolf bass. For this, while waiting, the examiners whispered. The last hour finally passed and everyone passed the assessment. Those examiners represent the Alliance officials, and each person is given a metal badge belonging to a space warrior. There is no difference in the style of everyone's badges, except that Yang Tian Huang Mao's badge has 5 stars on it, representing 5th-level space warriors. Others only have 4 stars or 3 stars, representing 4th-level space warriors or 3rd-level space warriors. This badge uses advanced technology and is like an ID card to the space warriors. It is unique to each person. Of course, lost or damaged items can be repaired. Any badge is only valid for its owner and has no effect when it is in the hands of other people. For example, if you take off the badge and throw it aside, the badge will instantly lose its energy supply and the stars on it will disappear immediately. Even if someone picks it up at this time, the badge will not have any reaction. Okay, congratulations to everyone. If you have grown up in the future, you can come back for the assessment and improve the level of space warriors before leaving. The seriousness on the faces of all the examiners at the beginning was gone. They all smiled and gave blessings, and gave some follow-up instructions. Related. In a room, Baron was kneeling on the ground, while a group of Bath werewolves stared at him with blazing eyes, as if they were judging. Baron, you actually knelt down to a foreigner. This has deeply tarnished the nobility and glory of our Bath werewolves. According to clan rules, you must commit suicide to apologize. What else do you have to say now? No. I didn't kneel down voluntarily, it was that bastard who hurt me. Baron's fierce words made all the Bath werewolves not believe it. In fact, it was hard for them to believe that the proud Bath werewolves would voluntarily kneel down to foreigners. That bastard just glared at me, but it made me feel like billions of beasts were charging towards me. I was shocked and accidentally knelt on the ground. Balon recounted the previous situation with difficulty. He didn't want to say it at first. After all, he knelt down and it would be embarrassing no matter what. But if he doesn't say anything, the judgment of his tribe will only become more serious. Are you domineering? Damn it, there are only a few of us Bath werewolves who can control domineering. That kid, a foreign country bumpkin who just joined the alliance, actually. The Bath werewolf was going crazy with jealousy, and murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Balon. Get rid of him. This is your only chance for redemption. Rest assured. Baron stood up with a stern look on his face, with deep resentment and murderous intent in his eyes. Since the opponent's domineering force can force him to kneel down, then the opponent's strength must be stronger than him. Balon still knew this. But even though the base werewolf is not the boss of the alliance, he is still a powerful existence. It is very easy to kill someone, let alone a newcomer who has just come to the alliance. It's a pity that I'm not strong enough to kill him with my own hands to avenge his shame, Baron clenched his fist deeply, with a cruel sneer on his face. Yang Tian didn't realize that he was interested in Belong. After they left the assessment point, they went straight to the mercenary guild and each spent 100 insect beads to register as alliance mercenaries. Yang Tian is naturally a 5th level mercenary. Such a strong man is comparable to a Zerg general, and his strength is no weaker than that of an ordinary legion commander. Moreover, he is still a newly registered recruit, so he is naturally being robbed by various legions. Although the others are not as popular as Yang Tian, they are still very popular. After all, they are all 3rd level and 4th level mercenaries. Soon after, 100 people including Yang Tian had their own legions. Yang Tian joined the Violent Bear Legion, and the leader of the regiment was named Violent Bear, and he lived up to his name because he was basically a black bear. From the neck down, he is no different from an ordinary human being, except that he is stronger. Above the neck is a black bear head. The aura is very powerful, but the smile is also quite honest. This is why Yang Tian is willing to join the Violent Bear Legion. Bao Xiong himself was only a 5th level space warrior. Facing his subordinates who were almost as powerful as him, he was very enthusiastic. Brother Yang Tian, I don't know where your hometown is and what the technology is like, but the technological strength of our Galaxy Alliance is very strong. You don't know that the entire Galaxy Alliance, including this king planet, is full of teleportation arrays. And the badge of our space warriors is the teleporter. That is to say, within the Galaxy Alliance, we space warriors only need a thought to go wherever we want to go. Yang Tian was not surprised. Earth has been like this for a long time, not to mention the Galaxy Alliance with the Hat Star sitting in charge. Yang Tian knew that the technological strength of the Hat had long surpassed that of the Earth. Brother Yang Tian, we have a mission next. If you are interested, you can join us. Perhaps considering that Yang Tian was a newcomer, Bao Xiong did not force Yang Tian to participate in the mission, but let Yang Tian choose for himself. Yang Tian nodded in agreement. After fist bumping with Huang Mao and greeting others, Yang Tian followed Bao Xiong. About 2 hours later, the Bao Xiong Legion gathered in an open space. The Violent Bear Corps is very small, with only 6 people in the whole group including the newcomer Yang Tian. There are newcomers, welcome. The other 4 members are 3 men and 1 woman, and their strength is pretty good. All of them are 3rd and 4th level space warriors. When they saw the badge on Yang Tian's chest, they were stunned. 5th level space warrior, newcomer. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 747. Hello everyone, I'm a newcomer, please take care of me. Yang Tian was quite polite. But this made the 4 teammates doubt their lives. You are already level 5, why should we take care of you? Okay, the mission is important, let's talk about it on the way. Bao Xiong waved his hand. Immediately, he took out a spaceship, and everyone boarded tacitly. The mission location is a life planet outside the Galaxy Alliance. After locking the destination, the spaceship runs automatically and does not need a driver at all. The journey is quite long. Along the way, several teammates enthusiastically introduced some common sense in the alliance to Yang Tian, which made Yang Tian quite useful, and he also had some good feelings for them in his heart. A few hours later, the Bao Xiong Corps successfully landed. Through his divine sense, Yang Tian could see that this life planet was very small, far less than 1/10,000th of the Earth. And it was very desolate. Most of it was land, mountains, and deserts, and water sources were quite scarce. On the way, Yang Tian already knew the mission of their trip. Their Violent Bear Corps was hired by a caravan. The caravan wanted to collect star ore on this planet, but the caravan did not have the strength to face the cosmic insect race or cosmic wild beasts, so they hired the Violent Bear Corps. To put it bluntly, the Violent Bear Corps' mission this time was to act as the bodyguard of the caravan. At this time, the caravan did not come. The Violent Bear Corps acted as a pioneer and needed to explore first to ensure that there was no great danger before letting the caravan come. Is this the star ore? Yang Tian stretched out his hand casually, and a rock in front of him cracked with a click. Then a fist-sized blue ore flew out of it and fell steadily into his palm. Yang Tian played with it carefully and found that this star ore contained a kind of energy, and this energy was of the same nature as the insect pill. Of course. Although the nature is the same, the energy of the insect pill is very pure, which can be called an energy aggregate. Although this star ore is large, the energy contained in it is very rare, and most of it is ordinary matter. Yes, this star ore is a specialty of our domain. It contains a natural energy. It is not only the favorite food of the Zerg and wild beasts, but also a precious cultivation resource for us, Bao Xiang said repeatedly. Yang Tian suddenly realized that it was no wonder that the Zerg was so strong. It would be strange if they were not strong if they had been feeding on this star ore for a long time. Some people may ask, the Zerg and other wild beasts in the universe feed on star ore, and even humans can practice through star ore, so why are only the Zerg the overlords of the Zerg domain? Obviously, the Zerg also has a terrifying ability, that is, super strong reproductive ability, which is almost the best in the universe. The same quality, but the number is thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of millions of times yours. This is reality. Fortunately, although high-level Zerg have intelligence equivalent to that of humans, they are cold-blooded and do not have too many emotions. When their compatriots die around them, they will not be angry, sad, or any other emotions, and may even devour their compatriots' bodies to strengthen themselves. The Zerg are greedy, cruel, and extremely self-centered. Companions? No. The Zerg never had any real companions, because with the death of their compatriots, they would only secrete one emotion: oh, there is finally one less fellow sharing food with me. The Zerg advocates hegemony and violence, but at the same time they also succumb to hegemony and violence, so low-level Zerg obey high-level Zerg. In order to compete for resources, the Zerg often kill each other. The scale can be as small as individuals, as large as armies, and as huge as the empire ruled by the Zerg king. In the Zerg domain, every minute and every second, countless Zergs will die while competing for resources with their compatriots. And this number is so large that it exceeds people's imagination. Despite this, due to the Zerg's almost exaggerated reproductive capacity, its total number has not decreased. Moreover, those who fall in the war must be the weak, while the strong will survive, further enhancing the Zerg's already terrifying foundation. From this, you have every reason to believe that if the Zerg are a little more united, then there will be no other life in this Zerg domain, except the Zerg. They will devour everything. In the end, they themselves will perish due to lack of resources. Such a large area has become a dead area. Based on this, the few royal families in the Zerg with deep thoughts are happy to see the development of humans. Because the development of humans can effectively inhibit the excessive expansion of the Zerg. This is similar to the lemmings jumping into the sea. It may be a bit sad to say that the reason why humans still exist in the Zerg area is because of the fancy captivity of those Zerg royal families. Okay, before the caravan comes, we must eliminate the dangers of this planet as much as possible. Everyone act on their own. Baoxian waved his hand, glanced at Yang Tian, and said, "Brother Yang Tian, you are a newcomer, just follow me today." Yeah, Yang Tian nodded, and he had more good feelings for this considerate leader. Along the way, Yang Tian followed Baoxian. Yang Tian knew that any space warrior could easily find the star mines around. However, Baoxian ignored those star mines. After a moment, Bao Xiang seemed to see through Yang Tian's thoughts and laughed. "Brother Yang Tian, compared to ordinary people, we space warriors are a high-risk profession. At the same time, our income is far greater than that of ordinary people. Completing a mission, or killing a Zerg in battle and obtaining an insect pill, is equivalent to hundreds of thousands or millions of star mines. Yang Tian is clear. It's like a multi-millionaire who doesn't bother to pick up a dollar coin that fell to the ground. Brother Yang Tian, it's your turn next. Just like I did just now, once we find any alien life that reaches the level of a wild beast, we will kill it. Good. Yang Tian walked in front of Bao Xiang, and when their bodies crossed each other, he didn't notice the sinister smile and murderous intent flashing in Bao Xiang's eyes. Suddenly, the divine light suddenly appeared on the violent bear, and with a wave of his rough palm, a huge energy palm print instantly condensed in the air. With the power to change the color of the world, it blasted toward the sky like an overwhelming mountain. Yang Tian's 5 senses were extremely sharp, and he instantly discovered the energy palm print hitting his back. But at this critical moment, he seemed to be frightened and froze, motionless. With a swipe sound, a golden red light emitted from Yang Tian's body, making his figure inexplicably taller and thicker. Boom! Smoke and dust rose up, and the ground beneath Yang Tian's feet cracked at a speed visible to the naked eye, as shocking as a spider web. But he himself was intact, not even an inch of his clothes was scratched. The violent bear gasped, his eyes bulging, full of disbelief. Yang Tian turned his head, his eyes extremely complicated, and asked coldly, "Why?" He really couldn't believe that this Legion commander who was very gentle and took good care of him a moment ago wanted to kill him at this moment. Along the way, he was by no means innocent, but he still underestimated the dangers of the human heart. You never know how far some people will go to disguise themselves to achieve a certain purpose. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 748. Why? Bao Xiang laughed when he heard this. You are a newcomer, and you have offended the base werewolf who has a very high status in the alliance. It's like a wild dog provoking the entire lion group. Even if I don't kill you today, they will still send others to kill you. I can fully foresee that you will have trouble sleeping and eating in the future, and there is no place for you to stay in the world. Suddenly, Bao Xiang took a deep look at Yang Tian and sneered, "But I underestimated you. The intelligence shows that you are only at the initial level of the 5th level, I dare not say anything else, but in terms of defense, you may have reached the late level of the 5th level." Bao Xiang was quite frightened. Although the palm strike just now was not his full strength, he also used 70% of his strength. Even if an ordinary 5th level warrior did not die immediately, he would be seriously injured and dying. However, Yang Tian just took a palm strike, and it was a palm strike on his back with relatively weak defense. He was completely unscathed, and even the corner of his clothes was not scratched half an inch. This defense is really too terrifying. He didn't know. Although Yang Tian is a mid-level 5th order cultivator, due to the special nature of his bloodline, his divine power and physical body are 7 times more powerful than those of ordinary people, and his strength is comparable to that of a mid-level 6th order cultivator. In addition, the golden light of dominance brought by moving as a mountain makes his body as strong as steel when he is still, indestructible, let alone a mere violent bear. Even if a 7th order hero with a very high status in the alliance comes in person, it is probably difficult to hurt him in the slightest. Base werewolf, so that's how it is. Yang Tian's eyes were no longer sharp, leaving only coldness. He understood that base werewolf was the real enemy, and as for this violent bear, he didn't take it seriously. This kind of stuff that is not even a stepping stone is not worthy of being regarded as an enemy, and can be crushed to death at will. Base bear, although you deserve to die, I, as a newcomer, do owe you a favor. So, I will only use 3 moves. If you don't die, I will spare your life. Yang Tian stared at the violent bear and said coldly. Arrogant. The violent bear trembled all over and laughed in anger. After all, Bao Xiang was a strong man in the alliance, and he had established his own army, and he was quite respected along the way. How could he tolerate a newcomer insulting him like this? Die! Bao Xiang roared and rushed towards Yang Tian like a beast, with great momentum. But before his terrifying bear paw touched Yang Tian, he watched the latter disappear from under his eyes, and then appeared out of thin air 10 meters behind him, with such a strange body movement, like a ghost. Void teleportation. Bao Xiang was shocked and cold sweat slid down unconsciously. Only then did he realize that Yang Tian was not an ordinary character. Although he didn't understand a lot of common sense when he first came to the Alliance, his strength was really terrible. Whoosh! Yang Tian stretched out his right hand, and a black energy sword quickly condensed. Swish! With a light slash, a sword light flew out, as fast as lightning. As the sword light gradually enlarged in his pupils, Bao Xiang was horrified. His powerful spiritual sense and rich experience told him that the opponent's seemingly casual sword was actually very terrifying. He might have to use all his strength to take it. With this thought, Bao Xiang didn't dare to think too much. He crossed his hands in front of his chest, tightened his muscles, and even released his divine power to take the most powerful defensive posture. Haha, Yang Tian. I didn't expect that your casual sword would force me to this point. No matter what, I, Bao Xiang, have already recognized this battle. Crack. Bao Xiang had a heroic face and expressed his excitement. It was a kind of joy that he finally met an opponent of equal strength and could finally fight with all his strength. However, the clear sound of bone cracking, the blood gushing out and rippling in front of his eyes, and the severe pain that followed, made him realize that he had overestimated himself, or he had underestimated Yang Tian again. Both hands were broken. A huge wound was cut on his chest, and the broken sternum and damaged internal organs were clearly visible. The blood, like a burst water pipe, dyed the ground red in the blink of an eye. Ah wow! Bao Xiang vomited a few mouthfuls of blood. The loss of vitality made his breath instantly weak, and he gasped. This was the first time in his life that he was seriously injured. He had already cursed the base werewolf to death in his heart. Their intelligence said that Yang Tian was only at the initial stage of the 5th level. Bullshit! Bullshit! Bao Xiang wanted to die. According to his initial estimate, Yang Tian's real strength was at least the 6th level. If he had known this earlier, why would he be greedy for this money and go to this step? No, I can't die. I want to take this real information back. Now, I am half wasted, and there is no future for me. I hope the value of this information can allow me to spend my old age in peace. When he was seriously injured and dying, Bao Xiang stimulated the potential of life, suddenly soared up and fled into the distance. Facing Yang Tian, a void like a snake or scorpion is not enough to describe the fear in his heart at this moment. In his eyes, Yang Tian is a devil, and he will take his life in a moment. He didn't want to stay in this place for a second or half a second. You can't escape. Looking at Bao Xiang, who was fleeing in a panic, Yang Tian had a blank expression on his face, stretched out his left hand, condensed a black energy arrow, and shot it straight at Bao Xiang. You'd better stay. Magic power hunting arrow. In the state of serious injury and dying, Bao Xiang's combat power and defense are all reduced to 1/10. But the powerful consciousness and sharp 5 senses have not weakened, and even slightly improved under the potential explosion. Between life and death, the violent bear twisted to the limit and narrowly avoided the soul-chasing arrow. It's a pity that the soul-chasing arrow is called the soul-chasing arrow because it is difficult to deal with. Once it locks the target, it will track it infinitely until it hits. This move is generally effective when facing the enemy head-on. But if it is used to harvest residual blood, it has been tried and tested. The violent bear never dreamed that the arrow he desperately twisted away would turn, and the energy did not dissipate at all, and the power did not decrease at all. Puff. The soul-chasing arrow pierced his heart, and the blood floating in the air was like a bunch of sad and beautiful red flowers, and the violent bear fell immediately. After killing the violent bear, Yang Tian did not have the slightest fluctuation in his heart. He was about to leave, but he keenly felt that he had been locked by 4 auras. It's them, of course. He knew the identities of the 4 people, and they were the other 4 members of the violent bear army. Yang Tian. You actually killed the leader. You deserve to die. The 4 people were 3 men and 1 woman. Their anger was evident in their words. If they were not afraid of Yang Tian's strength, they would have rushed over. Have you also accepted the mission of the Bath Werewolf? Yang Tian asked. He had a glimmer of hope in his heart. He had just come to the Alliance and was still a newcomer. He did not want to kill people. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 749. The Werewolf of Base. Yang Tian, don't change the subject for me, the 4 said angrily. Yang Tian's eyes were deep. He had suffered a loss just now, and he could no longer trust others. However, he is not CAO. I would rather kill 1,000 people by mistake than let 1 person go. This he thought he couldn't do. These 4 people are only at the 3rd level and pose no threat to me. That's all. No matter what today, I will let them go. Yang Tian thought of the 4 people on the spaceship who had patiently explained to him the various rules and common sense of the Alliance. The scene made me sigh. After a while, Yang Tian no longer lingered and turned to leave. Yang Tian, do you want to escape? You killed the leader of the violent bear. Today you must return to the Alliance with us to face trial. The 4 people quickly blocked Yang Tian's escape route, and the woman named Tongmin among them screamed even more. Yang Tian just sneered, if I go back with you, will I still survive? Humph, you finally admitted that you killed Captain Violent Bear, Tongmin shouted. In fact, they did not see Yang Tian kill the violent bear with their own eyes. After all, they were a step late. However, apart from some weak beings, there are only 5 members of the Violent Bear Legion on this small planet. The leader of the Violent Bear is a late-level 5th-level powerhouse. After thinking about it, they can only doubt Yang Tian. While questioning Yang Tian, Tongmin also turned on a recording device, preparing to record what Yang Tian said next. Yes, I did kill the Violent Bear. He deserves to die. Yang Tian sneered again and again. He was bribed by the Bath Werewolf long ago and wanted to kill me. Now I kill him, why not? After speaking, Yang Tian took a few more steps, while Tongmin and others followed closely. Yang Tian was finally irritated, and a powerful aura burst out, frightening Tongmin and 4 others and falling to the ground. By the time they reacted, Yang Tian's figure had already disappeared. Yang Tian, this guy is no ordinary person. Just now, I felt a terrifying momentum in him, like an army of wild beasts coming overwhelmingly. Yeah, I almost thought I was dead. The 3 men were sweating profusely and felt guilty. Tongmin felt uncomfortable too, her face turned pale with fright, but she still held the recording device tightly with both hands. After killing the leader with his own hands, Yang Tian was obviously no longer a member of the Violent Bear Legion, and it was impossible to continue the task of protecting the caravan for mining. After leaving, Yang Tian wandered alone in the void of the universe. The world was so vast, but for a moment he didn't know where to go or where to go. Return to the Alliance and join a new legion? Yang Tian shook his head and quickly gave up this dangerous idea. After this battle, he finally understood how powerful and high the base werewolf was in the Alliance. If he goes back, what may be waiting for him is the dragnet laid by the Bath werewolves. By the way, I can go to Blue Star and see Longer and the others. Yang Tian's eyes suddenly lit up, and a small smile appeared on his cold face. The Galaxy Alliance is still too unfamiliar to him, especially after experiencing the Violent Bear incident just now. He dare not trust others easily. But Xianyu and Longer, Alice, and Carrie are some of the people he trusts most. In fact, not only them, but the entire Blue Star has a close relationship with the Earth. Back then, the Hat Star obtained the White Crystal and created an online game called Taegzu. The participants in the game were actually people from the two planets, Earth and Blue Star. It's just that the people on Earth play the role of players, and the people from Blue Star play the role of NPC. After 5 years of Taegzu, Yang Tian has reached his peak. He has a transcendent status among the players, the people on Earth, and countless people are proud of him. On the NPC side, the Blue Star people, it is also famous, and everyone knows about it. That's why Yang Tian didn't feel any resistance to going to Blue Star. Instead, he was a little happy, as if he was going to an old friend's home. Fly to the Blue Star. Tongmin and others tidied up and returned to the Alliance with the body of the Violent Bear. The leader is dead and the Violent Bear Legion exists in name only. Naturally, they will no longer be in the mood to do missions. As soon as they returned to the Alliance, the first thing they saw was the base werewolf Baron, who looked forward to it as if he was waiting for them to come back. "Where's the Violent Bear? Where's your captain?" Baron asked eagerly, and then his eyes lowered, and he glanced at the miserable, no longer human body. His heart trembled, and he couldn't help but take a breath. "Is this?" "Sir, our leader is dead. These 4 people are all 3rd level space warriors. They are equivalent to Baron in strength, but Baron's status is more than 10,000 times higher than them. Facing Baron, they can only use honorific words to show humility." Balan was shocked when he heard this and asked quickly, "He is dead, who killed him? Is it Yang Tian?" "This." The 4 of them looked at each other and believed that Yang Tian was not lying. It seems that the group leader was really bribed by the Bath werewolf in front of him and wanted to kill Yang Tian, but Yang Tian refused to give in to fate and killed the group leader instead. Putting aside human relations and just talking about justice, they all agreed that Yang Tian did nothing wrong. There's no reason why you shouldn't fight back when others are trying to kill you, right? Yang Tian should have killed the group leader, but we didn't see it with our own eyes, the 3 men said truthfully, feeling quite complicated. At that time, they misunderstood Yang Tian and made him suffer injustice. And they knew that with Yang Tian's strength, it would be effortless to kill them to vent his anger. But Yang Tian didn't kill them. After a few times, the hatred in their hearts disappeared, and they didn't want to leave any handle for Yang Tian, and they didn't want to give false testimony to accuse Yang Tian. But there was still one person, Tong Min. Seeing the struggles, helplessness, and size of the 3 people, she didn't say anything, but tightened the recorder in her hand. Sure enough, did he kill him? Baron's eyes showed a kind of shock. In the Galaxy Alliance, the status of the 5th level space warrior is not high, but it is definitely not low. It is equivalent to the middle level of the Alliance, comparable to the Zerg generals in the Zerg, and the Zerg generals can lead hundreds of millions of Zerg troops. As for Bao Xiong, he is in the late 5th level, and because of his relatively powerful bloodline, his strength is close to the 6th level. But even so, he was still killed by Yang Tian. Baron took a deep breath. At this moment, he had to admit that Yang Tian, a country bumpkin who had just come from the countryside, was really extraordinary. "Okay, go ahead." Baron waved his hand impatiently, thinking about how to deal with Yang Tian while driving away the people of the Violent Bear Legion. The 3 men left quickly. They didn't want to have anything to do with this matter anymore. They just wanted to join a legion again and start all over again. But Tong Min didn't leave. She stayed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 750. Looking at the backs of the 3 former partners, Tong Min's eyes were complicated, a bit struggling, but also a bit determined. By now, the context of the whole incident was very clear, and she had no hatred for Yang Tian in her heart. However, She knew that the Bath werewolf had a very high status in the Alliance, and if she handed over the recording, she would probably get something she wanted. Human beings are easily seduced by desire. How many people can truly stick to their hearts in the face of desire? Even the leader she respected very much in the past, wasn't he devoured by desire and eventually died miserably? Mr. Baron. Tongmin took a deep breath. Oh? Do you have anything else? Baron glanced at her impatiently. This Baron's strength is average, but because of his noble birth, he naturally has an aura about him. Unconsciously, Tongmin bent down, her posture became more humble. Mr. Baron, I believe you are very interested in this thing. Oh, what is it? It's a recording. Tongmin smiled and turned on the recorder. The recorder first transmitted the shouting question from Tongmin himself, you finally admitted that you killed the leader of the violent bear. Immediately afterwards, there was Yang Tian's slightly sarcastic sneer, yes, I did kill the violent bear, he deserves to die. Pause, he was bribed by the base werewolf long ago and wanted to kill me. Now I have killed him. So why not? Haha, good. You did a good job, Baron smiled with satisfaction. With this recording, he was sure that he could convict Yang Tian of death. The Alliance does not allow infighting, there are clear rules on this. But it is simply unrealistic for such a huge alliance, with countless planets and billions of people in it, to live in complete peace, without any friction or conflict. There is a more important point. The force of the space warriors is too strong, and it is a piece of cake to move mountains and seas, so that they will accidentally kill innocent people and cause countless people to die. For example, a 7th level hero practiced palm skills and split a mountain with one palm, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to fall apart, which happened to destroy a tribe that was living and reproducing here. Tell me, whose fault is this? Is there anything wrong with that outstanding person? He is just practicing palm skills. Therefore, talking about rules and laws in the Galaxy Alliance is too superficial. Let's talk about fists. Don't say that the hero was accidentally killed by mistake, so what if he was deliberately obliterated? Who would dare to say that he is guilty? Same. The Bath Wolf has a high position, and if he has a little bit of evidence to accuse someone, that person will usually be sentenced to death. The Galaxy Alliance has laws, which are very superficial. What is superficial about them is that they only serve those in power or the powerful. Balan was delighted. He was still worried about how to deal with Yang Tian just now, but he didn't expect that Tongmin would bring him a surprise. He was so sleepy that his pillow came to him. This recording still has flaws and is not perfect enough. Yang Tian only needs to explain his crimes, and there is no need to say anything more. Baron paused and said, you should know how to do it, right? Tongmin smiled and nodded. In the audio, Yang Tian said 2 sentences. The first sentence admitted killing the violent bear, and the second sentence explained the reasons for killing the violent bear. For the Bath Wolf, this second sentence is redundant and should not exist. Then it should be deleted. Haha, okay. Now we just have to wait for that guy Yang Tian to return to the Alliance and throw himself into the trap. Baron laughed wildly, then turned to Tongmin and the recorder in her hand, his tone became serious and cold, put it away, you should know that it is much more important than your life. Yes, Sir. Tongmin was frightened and bowed even lower. Baron calmed down and said with a smile, okay, don't worry, as long as Yang Tian dies, you will get what you want. The Zerg tribe is powerful in the insect domain. In order to counter the Zerg, the human side established the Galaxy Alliance. However, there are still many relatively weak living planets that cannot join the Alliance, such as the Earth and Blue Star. The Alliance people call those relatively weak life planets ordinary stars. The Alliance people look down at the stars from a high position. In their eyes, mortal stars are resources without owners that can be mined and plundered at will. There are also various maps marking mortal stars in the Alliance. Based on those maps, you can even find the specific location of the Earth. In the same way, it is very easy to find the blue star. Yang Tian had already purchased multiple maps of mortal star in the market, and now flew towards blue star according to the map. Blue star. This is a planet that is very similar to the Earth in appearance. It should be noted that the Earth has always been known as the blue star. Why? Blue is the color of the ocean. The proportion of the Earth's ocean area is as high as 71%. What is the concept? It means that 2/3 of the Earth is ocean, and it looks blue when viewed from outer space. Like the Earth, blue star is also a planet with a large proportion of oceans. Of course, the total area of blue star is larger than the Earth, more than 2 or 3 times larger. At the same time, blue star is surrounded by aura, and it looks like a planet rich in resources. But today's blue star is not at peace, because blue star has welcomed an uninvited guest, the powerful Dragon Legion belonging to the Galaxy Alliance. Not only did they stay with blue star, they even turned their backs on guests. They saw the rich mineral resources on blue star, so they used force to suppress it, plundered it by force, and enslaved blue star people to mine for them. Kangnan Mountain is recognized by the people of blue star as the first mine, so it is also called Kangnan Mine. It is rich in star ores, and the quality is top-notch. It should be noted that ores are divided into good and bad, and so are star ores, and the value of a top-quality star ore is far more than 10,000 inferior ores. There are more than 10 mines on Kangnan Mine, and each mine is guarded by heavy soldiers of the strong Dragon Legion, holding long whips and acting as supervisors. Those disobedient or lazy miners are often whipped to bleed. Even if someone dies, it is just a joke. The miners are in danger of losing their lives. In order to survive, they can only endure humiliation and work hard to mine. One by one, the top-quality star ores are piled into cars and transported to the top of the Strong Dragon Legion. Strong Dragon Legion is famous because it is led by a pair of brothers who are in life and death, and it is even called the Double Dragon Association. The eldest brother Kang Long is the leader of the Legion and is a 6th-level cosmic warrior. His younger brother, Hadalong, is the deputy leader and is also a 6th-level space warrior, but he is only in the early 6th level and his strength is much inferior to that of his elder brother Kang Long. This Kangnan Mine is under the full responsibility of Hadalong. Seeing the truckloads of top-quality star ores being transported in, Hadalong was overjoyed and quickly opened the jar to enjoy the wine and drank with his brothers. Second brother, although this blue star is an ordinary star, it has rich resources. A subordinate drank a bowl of wine and praised, especially these top-quality star ores, not to mention the ordinary stars, they are very rare even in the Alliance. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 751. Haha. Hadalong laughed wildly and said, "This blue star is surrounded by spiritual energy and rich in resources. It's a pity that the blue star people are mediocre and waste these high-quality resources in vain." Everyone laughed and expressed their disdain for the blue star people. It should be noted that any mortal star can join the Alliance. At that time, the mortal star will no longer be a mortal star, but will be protected by the Alliance. A 7th-level hero can get Yufengxing to join the Alliance. If there are no heroes, then 10 6th-level space warriors will do. If not, then hundreds of 5th-level space warriors can do the same. So, you still can't join the Alliance. I can only say that you are mediocre and cannot be reused. In the eyes of Hadalong and others, this blue star is surrounded by spiritual energy and rich in materials. It can be said that it is an advantageous place, such a treasured place is actually a mortal star. This shows that everyone in blue star is a stupid pig and ants, and the talents are sparse. There is not even a genius. Well, as the ancients said, there are outstanding people and great spirits one person's side. This blue star is indeed a great spirit of the earth. It's a pity that there are hundreds of billions of pigs in the population. Ha 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 ha. Ha Along and others were drinking and having fun, laughing wildly. In the hall, many Blue Star people who were taken as slaves and maidservants were filled with grief and anger. They were trembling with anger, with tears and runny noses flowing, but they dared not speak out in anger. Occasionally, a reckless man rises up. But he was instantly beheaded on the spot, and his body was chopped into pieces and fed to the dogs. This made all the slaves and maids feel cold, and they no longer dared to resist. 3,000 worlds, all different. Blue Star advocates martial arts and has abandoned technology and civilization. People can fly into the sky and into the sea, so why do they need steel cars? In terms of military and political affairs, Blue Star still adopts the imperial system that was popular in ancient times. There are multiple empires on Blue Star, each occupying a corner and dominating the mountains and rivers together. Since ancient times, dynasties have sometimes prospered and sometimes declined. The most prosperous empire at the moment, the one with the potential to unify, is the Shenlong Empire. Shenlong Empire. Sounds very familiar. Yes, it is exactly the world that Xianyuan Yang Tian and others created in Taixu in the past. In fact, as early as when the Hat Stars created Taixu, they used Blue Star as a sample and drew lessons from Blue Star in many aspects such as imperial disputes and environment. Shenlong City is the imperial capital of the Shenlong Empire and the location of the majestic palace. A few months ago, this was the most prosperous city in Blue Star. With prosperous trade, authentic martial arts, intoxicating wine, and strict laws, it was truly a place that everyone yearned for. But with the arrival of the powerful Dragon Legion, the Legion leader Kang Long personally occupied the palace, causing the loyal ministers to die tragically, and the traitors to take over. While Kang Long and his team were enjoying themselves, they also went all over the country to capture young men and beautiful women, transport them back to the Alliance through secret channels, and sell them for profit. The Shenlong Empire has long lost its former glory. The common people are displaced, homeless, and are in danger of being captured as slaves in the mines at any time. Besides the Shenlong Empire, other empires were also terrified. Some surrender and live by their breath. Some join forces secretly to discuss countermeasures. Dragon Nest. This is a dangerous and secret place in the Shenlong Empire, and it is also a forbidden area. It is said that this valley is where dragon beasts live, and anyone who accidentally enters it will surely die. Only members of the Xianyuan clan can enter safely. The Xianyuan clan is the royal family of the Shenlong Empire, and now there is only one person left, the current Empress Xianyuan Long. Kang Long's strong dragon legion was too strong and domineering. After arriving, they killed all the way, passed the pass, beheaded the generals, and occupied the palace. Xianyuan Long could only escape into the Dragon Valley to temporarily avoid the danger. Not only that, she also violated the ban and helped as many people as possible to escape into the Dragon Valley to take refuge. Today, Xianyuan Long is 25, possessing both civil and military skills, a heroic appearance, and the appearance of an emperor. The original Shenlong Empire was built by Yang Tian with her. Yang Tian, who was once the founding marshal, was much higher than her in terms of merit and reputation. After Taixu ended and she returned to Blue Star, she could only rely on herself. So these 2 years were actually the period of her greatest growth. Report, Your Majesty, the Empire has completely fallen into the control of the powerful Dragon Legion. They have also spread rumors and deceived the public. A spy came to report. Xianyuan Long frowned, What rumors? The spy was frightened and said in a trembling voice, They say that Blue Star is a paradise in the cave, full of spiritual energy and rich in materials. It's a pity that there are hundreds of billions of people on Blue Star, but there are hundreds of billions of pigs. They say that we live on Blue Star, which is really a waste of resources and a waste of resources. Some people say that we occupy the latrine. It's too much to bully others. Killing someone will kill someone's heart. Hearing this, Xianyuan Longer was so angry that he turned pale for a moment, trembling all over, and even his basic standing was a little unsteady. Your Majesty, the dwarf carry, including some important ministers, rushed to help him. After Xianyuan Longer's expression calmed down a little, he said, while showing off its tyrannical strength, the Qianglong Legion is deceiving the public with its monstrous words, using its strengths to attack my weaknesses. How sinister are its intentions! This will make us Blue Star people lose their fighting spirit and hope, making it easier to be enslaved by them. Your Majesty, are we Blue Star people really so unbearable? Carrie and other important ministers all looked unwilling. Since Blue Star is a blessed land, why don't we have talented people from all over the world? Xianyuan Longer sighed. The strategy of the powerful dragon army was indeed effective. Carrie and other important officials began to doubt themselves. What's more, ordinary civilians. However, only a few people with extremely high status on Blue Star know the truth. The truth is, Blue Star is not a paradise at all. At least 2 or 3 years ago, Blue Star was just an ordinary star. It has always been ordinary. The spiritual energy and materials are common. Although there are star mines, they are not widely distributed and the quality is not high. The top quality star mines that are now abundant in Blue Star suddenly appeared 2 or 3 years ago, creating the scene of Blue Star being surrounded by spiritual energy and rich materials. Why did so many top quality star mines suddenly appear? She didn't know the specific reason, but she guessed that it should be a gift from the Hat Star. At the beginning, the ancestor of the Hat Star specially developed Tegzu to help the Earthlings grow, and asked the Blue Star people to help play NPCs. The Earthlings, the so-called players, lived with Tegzu for 5 years. And the Blue Star people, all the Blue Star people. They stayed in Tegzu for 11 years. Tegzu has only been running for 5 years, but it took 6 years to develop. As early as the development, the consciousness of the Blue Star people entered Tegzu. When Tegzu was shut down, the Blue Star people finally woke up from a dream. They had a memory gap of their home planet for 11 years. For the Hat Star people, or to the Hat Star ancestor, the Blue Star people helped a lot and worked hard. And given the status of the Hat Star people in the Alliance, the rewards they gave to the Blue Star people must be extraordinary.